The Senate will be in order. Everyone, please be seated. Thank you. For the purposes of announcements, does any individual seek recognition? Chair Mello, you are recognized.
Okay, guys, so Distinguished Teaching Award committees are forming for the spring. So if you're interested in getting involved, basically we need 3 students to volunteer to help choose the winners. And so you get to see the finalists, look at their resumes, the student letters that were submitted about why they think that they're the most distinguished. And then you choose people, you give them a prize, which is money. And so it's a pretty fun experience. I did it last year. I'd highly recommend. Is anyone maybe interested? Maddie, Jacob. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. And then the other thing is Mount Ida campus is officially renamed to Charles River. So if you didn't see that, yay.
Thank you. Are there any questions? All right. Does any other individual seek recognition? Chair Onyeka, you're recognized.
Hi, everyone. I just want to let you know that SOJEC is having an event tomorrow. It is called Hot Topics. We're going to be talking about some like the most pressing headlines that we're seeing today. It'll be in Goodell, room 309 at 6 o'clock. It's on our Instagram. So if you're able to come, please do. And if you're not, at least please repost it on your story so that people can come. There will be snacks and like chips and stuff. So please come if you're able to. Thank you, guys.
Any questions? All right. Does any other individual seek recognition? Secretary Nevins, you're recognized.
So the Greenfield Bus Expansion Initiative that I talked to you guys all about last meeting, I have since met with the director of the PVTA, and they will be launching a pilot program in January. So right now, that calls on a couple responsibilities of us. Now, the first one is that the PVTA requested me specifically, so now I'm requesting all of you, to scour through in Greenfield, look at where apartments are, talk to friends and people who are from the area, where we would like stops to be. Right now, we're going to be requesting Greenfield Community College, the current stops that are on the line that exists, Main Street, so that's going to be called Mohawk Mall, so on and so forth. We think it's going to be super exciting. It's going to give a lot of opportunities to students. Rents around there sit around $1,500 to $2,000, which is significantly cheaper, and their bylaws are much more favorable to students. I just want to say thank you to all of you. The PVTA first noticed this because of a resolution that as a Senate we passed last year. Had we not passed that, this may have not flown onto their radar. So when we think about resolutions and stuff that goes on here, it is really important because people do read them and they cause really big changes. So thank you, all of you. And if you have stops or people that you want to talk to about this, please send them my way. I will be giving our list of recommendations to the PVTA Friday morning. So if you can do it tonight and tomorrow, that would be fabulous. Thank you.
Are there any questions? All right, thank you. Does any other individual seek recognition? Senator Walker Hoover, you're recognized.
I can just get my belt right. Okay. Some quick announcements about USSA. Next week, or this week, Sunday, is the 6-month interim government council check-in. So like just to see if the government council is working, trying to see if we can start talking about some solutions towards making like an official USSA Congress. And then as well as there's an opportunity for folks in this room and outside at UMass to go to Orlando in January boot camp for all interested delegates, where there's an offer for them to pay for your flight, pay for your round trip, your meals and everything. They really just want to train you in organizing. You can be an experienced organizer. You can be an organizer with no experience. You could be beginner level. It's just a good opportunity. And that deadline closes December 15th. So please look for that. If you are interested, I could share that to the meeting attached file. You can also email me. It's a really good opportunity. You guys should try to look into that. We don't get back from break until February 1st. So you have no classes that I'm aware of. So it's a good opportunity to maybe go to Florida. Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Does any other individual seek recognition to make an announcement? There being no more individuals, the Associate Speaker will record the starting roll call. Actually, before we get to that, this is our last Senate meeting of the year. So first of all, congratulations to all of you for completing your first regular session. Go ahead. First of all, we'll be having a holiday party afterwards in the office. I've got a bunch of dessert stuff and some chips and some apple cider. So if you're interested, stop by. We'll also be taking a big group photo, so please stick around for that. The second thing is that Cody and I have set up this feedback form. It's totally anonymous, just for feedback for me and him regarding the way that these meetings are run or just the work that we do as the Office of the Speaker in general. So if you could all fill out this form, we'd really appreciate it. Anything you want to see changed, feel free to put it in the form, anything at all, and it's totally anonymous. If that form is empty, we're just going to keep doing things the way they are. So if you want to see anything changed at all, please fill out this form. Anyone else still need the QR code? Yeah, we'll leave it up while roll call is conducted.
Senator Ashrafi. Senator Ashrafi, absent. Senator Bauman. Senator Bauman, present. Senator Baker. Senator Baker, present. Senator Belair. Senator Belair, present. Senator Chamu. Senator Chamu, present. Senator DeHaze. Senator DeHaze, absent. Senator DeRiggi. Senator DeRiggi, present. Senator Faciso. Senator Faciso, present. Senator Haycock. Senator Haycock, absent. Senator Ercole Espinal. Present. Senator Hirnandani. Senator Hirnandani, absent. Chair Hood. Chair Hood, present. Senator Huang. Senator Huang, present. Senator Jame. Senator Jame, present. Senator Kennedy. Senator Kennedy, present. Chair Kim. Chair Kim, present. Senator Cohison. Senator Cohison, present. Senator Lamore. Senator Lamore, present. Senator Monda. Monda, absent. Senator Murray. Senator Murray, present. Senator Meesom. Senator Meesom, absent. Chair Mello. Chair Mello, present. Senator Morales-Aquino. Morales-Aquino, present. Senator Nalivo. Senator Nalivo, present. Senator Ng. Senator Ng, present. Chair Nguyen. Chair Nguyen, absent. Chair Nyeka. Chair Nyeka, present. Senator Disha Patel. Senator Disha Patel, absent. Senator Rahi Patel. Senator Rahi Patel, present. Senator Reeb. Senator Reeb, present. Senator Saini. Senator Saini, present. Senator Schuette. Senator Schuette, present. Senator Shi. Senator Shi, absent. Senator Siegel. Here. Senator Siegel, present. Senator Sun. Here. Senator Sun, present. Senator Seversky. Senator Seversky, present. Senator Taki. Senator Taki, present. Senator Tajwani. Senator Tajwani, present. Senator Tick. Here. Senator Tick, present. Chair Trong. Here. Chair Trong, present. Senator Valencia Gagel. Senator Valencia Gagel, present. Senator Verma. Senator Verma, present. Senator Walker Hoover. Here. Senator Walker Hoover, present. Senator Wu, present. With 37 voting members, a quorum is present.
Thanks. The minutes from the last meeting were sent out 48 hours prior. Are there any objections to the minutes? There being no corrections, the minutes stand approved without objection. Moving on, the Senate will stand in recess and the Committee of the Whole shall be in session to hear the Chancellor's address. Pursuant to Title II, Chapter 31, Section 9, subsections 1 and 5, when Committee of the Whole is called into session, parliamentary procedure is suspended and the Senate may not take any official votes. Before we get to that, I'd like to wish Senator Noah Siegel a happy birthday. All right, everyone, you know the drill. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Noah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Noah. All right. Now I would like to invite up Chancellor Javier Reyes.
Thank you very much. And I know you have me for, you said that I have to be in 30 minutes, so I make sure that I give quick remarks and really open up for questions as I continue to tell everywhere where I go. It's about conversations. It's about engaging with each other. It's about finding ways to get on the same page. As I said, we're on the same book because we're all in UMass. It's just a matter of how can we get on the same page. So with that said, I just want to say that at the beginning of the semester, when I go to the Faculty Senate, I give initial remarks on where we are. I think many of you have seen some of those pointers. So I thought it might be better to show a little bit of where we're heading in a way. I know that there are many topics that are on top of mind for the student government. One of them has been, how are we doing when it comes to attracting and retaining students, underrepresented minorities, and international students? And I can tell you that just looking at the current set of applications that we have for next fall, we're already about 3% above from where we were last year. And the most important number there is that we may be actually at about 8% higher than last year when it comes to African Americans, and about 3 or 4% higher when it comes to Hispanics, and about equal to where we were in international students. So it's just to give you a sense of where we are. We continue to attract talented students from everywhere. We continue to attract you from different parts of the country, from all the backgrounds, to continue to celebrate something that is important to all of us, which is our diversity. And I wanted just to make sure that we have that. I know that we continue to have, again, a lot of pressure when it comes to the current environment in which we have to navigate, the way that we can continue to make sure that we continue to advance our mission of research, educational excellence, and connecting with our communities across the Commonwealth, first and foremost, but across the nation and the world. Our faculty continue to do the research, engage our students with the research, engage you with the classroom, as well as engage you with your creativity in different formats, whether it's in some of the performances, in the labs, in our athletics departments as well. So you continue to have what we can see is a great experience. Our retention rate has gone up, continues to go up. Our retention rate is from freshman to sophomore where we are. We continue to be in the top 10 in the nation when it comes to our retention. And that's because of investments that the university has done, invested on the student success and the offices that have created the belonging that continues to attract and retain the students. Our graduation rates continue to be stellar and lead parts of the nation. So we are, in a way, doing really well. But we're challenging ourselves when it comes to more internships. We know that what you want in many cases is you come here and engage with your learning. So we're starting to work on a program of internships close by in the area of Springfield, in the area of Holyoke. And I'm so glad that you talk about expanding the route to Greenfield. So this is excellent. That having the mobility to take our students in different parts of our community is what will help us engage them with their learning outside of our campus. But I know, and we have all the vice chancellors, many of the vice chancellors here today, that continue to find ways of engaging you with your learning on our campus, whether it's when it comes to our events, whether it's some of the athletic facilities, the arts and the arts center, whether it's in labs, whether it's in some of the areas of accounting and administration. We continue to provide opportunities for our students, which in a way provides additional support to the growing financial aid that we continue to provide to our students. So I wanted to mention that as you have said, and I have spoken in the Faculty Senate, it is important that we continue to have conversations of talking of areas that I know are a little bit tricky for everyone here in UMass and in Amherst and in our community, which is the cost of housing, the cost of living. We have to continue to address it. And I invite you to continue to advocate for different resources that we can get at the university when it comes to our Bright Act, when it comes to a Drive Act that could provide us ways to engage our research, but also continue to move our mission forward of providing you with academic excellence and facilities that are reducing our carbon footprint, as well as providing us with renovated facilities, especially when it comes to our residence halls, while maintaining one parameter that I have set very publicly to maintain accessibility when it comes to our housing. So that's something that I know will be perhaps some questions that you may have. But as I said, I don't like to crowd the airwaves with my voice. I would like to hear your voices, your question. All I ask is the following, as always, You heard me say it before. When you ask a question, any question is valid. Any question you can ask. If you don't agree necessarily with the answer, that doesn't mean the conversation's over. That's actually where the conversation truly begins. And I want to thank the student government and their leadership that have taken that to heart in the conversations they're having with us. I truly, truly appreciate all the approach with the different resolutions that you take. You let us sometimes take a look. I appreciate that. Thank you. And we want to continue that kind of a conversation with all of you. So I appreciate that. And I did bring some friends because you may think that I know everything about the campus. I don't. It is a large campus. When you think about it, we're a small city. We have a city of maybe, when you think about 31,000 students plus about 7,000 staff and faculty, it's pretty large. And then 16,000 of you are my closest neighbors in a way. And I know that comes with a lot of areas for which I have the vice chancellors, the provost, and other associate vice chancellors and vice provosts that are the ones that keep an eye on this. And they're the ones that if there's a question that I think I cannot answer, instead of telling you, well, let me go find out, it's like I reserve the right to call a friend and then they can help us with the answer. And that keeps the conversation going. So hopefully you allow me to call on them if there's a question. That's okay. Very good. Well, with that said, thank you again. And I'm hoping that I'll get a chance to say at least some closing remarks. So if there's anything you would like to ask, please, this is your time. We're here. I know that you said 30 minutes because you have business to conduct and this is your last meeting. So I don't want to make sure I want to be respectful of your time. So how do you want to manage questions? Do I just call or do you? Now, sometimes people raise their hand that I have to make a choice between one or two. So I would appreciate if you actually sort of decide who is each question so that I don't be the one, well, you and not you. And I want to be respectful that it's not choosing who. So if you could, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right. Chair Onyeka, you're recognized. If we could have everyone, could someone pass a mic down there, please?
Hi, hello. So I know you're saying that there's an increase in students of color at campus, which is great. I'm curious if you're seeing the same in like Eisenberg, for example, one of our more selective schools where that has a lot of resources. I feel like from what I'm hearing from a lot of the students I know of color, specifically Black students at Eisenberg, like the number of students of color are like staggeringly low. So I'm curious if there's any initiative or any effort taken for like a school with so much like love being poured into it, if students of color are also being accepted at a higher rate, or if there's like an increase of students of color.
That would be a data point that I would hate to say something that I don't know about, but I can definitely get the data point and making sure that we send you back that data.
Okay.
And I'll make sure that I pass also the message or the interest to the dean of Eisenberg, say, hey, there's students asking about how are we doing this to make sure that I pass it. But I don't have that data in front of me.
Thank you.
Thank you. But I'll promise I'll send you a response.
Thanks. Could we get a mic passed back there? And would you mind stating your name for the record, please?
This is good. Hi, I'm Dan McGlynn. I'm editor-in-chief of the Amherst Wire. Thanks for coming here tonight. SGA is also set to vote tonight on a resolution to demand the university drop conduct charges against Kiv Montabello here, a student activist for his involvement with a demonstration at the Eisenberg Career Fair in September. Also, a separate petition has garnered around 1,100 signatures now to demand the university drop those charges. What would you say to critics who believe that the university is overzealously or selectively applying their demonstration policies to a student organizer who's been very involved with campus protests for a couple of years now? Thanks.
Remember what I mentioned about the questions. That is a topic of student conduct that I cannot speak about. So I cannot confirm what you're saying, but I can't speak about student conduct.
Yeah, Senator Siegel. Is there a microphone? Thanks.
Hi, thank you very much. So sort of in a similar vein, I'm one of the 137 students, faculty, graduate students, staff, and community members who you called the police on and had arrested on May 7th, 2024. When during a protest encampment against UMass's ties with weapons companies such as Raytheon and its ties to the genocide in Gaza and its various economic ties to the genocide in Gaza. My experience on that day was I was knocked to the ground by a CERT trooper. I was flex cuffed with my hands behind my back so tightly that I lost feeling in my left hand for the following 2 days. And so my question to you is, I'll be straight up. I think you did a pretty ginormous harm that day to the UMass community. And my question is, how do you plan on repairing, as long as you continue to remain chancellor, how do you plan on repairing your relationships with those of us who were hurt that day? And what progress have you and the administration made towards implementing the various demands, proposals, et cetera, around divestment, around campus democracy, et cetera, that were presented to you in negotiations that day by the representatives of that protest that were overwhelmingly supported in multiple resolutions by this body over the course of the last 2.5 years.
First of all, I'm sorry that it happened to you, and I know that the state police has been looking into some of those issues, and that is something that is not under my control. But when it comes to what have we done to repair harm, it's not necessarily called it repair harm. It's how can we engage in conversations that are like this, that don't require us to yell and scream or to paralyze part of the university. So be able to have these conversations what we're doing. I know that Marcia McGriff is here. She can provide more comments into what we're doing to build the venues and the platforms where we can engage. We created the CDD program, Community Democracy and Dialogue, that has provided funding for students, faculty, and staff to create events, to create platforms where conversations can be had, programming about informing students of their perspectives, points of views from different sides, including the one that you mentioned, have been provided to be able to create those platforms. I have attended many of those meetings, and I'll continue to have conversations with all the students, faculty, and staff, just like I did with the faculty who were arrested. I was in a conversation with them, and it's a matter of making sure that we can have conversations and dialogue. So, but it is a moment in time that I continue to look over and make sure that we don't get to that point in time or that point of a conversation. So being able to be here and have this conversation with you, I think it's a good step forward. So when it comes to the demands, as you mentioned, some of those demands have continued to be not under my control. The divestment is not something that we oversee, right? So that's something that I cannot. It's not well under my purview. So, thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Nevins, go ahead.
Forgive me, I have a bit of context. So my question pertains to UHS. Now, they see about 13,000 patients a month. They're considered one of the best, if not the best, healthcare provider in this part of the region. And I'm sure you've walked from Southwest to that part of campus, or even from Sylvan to that part of campus. And walking from Sylvan or from Southwest or from Northeast, or anywhere that's really not central, it is a very long walk to get to UHS. And when it's cold out, when you're sick, it can be very, very difficult to get there. And currently right now we have the AVS system, so the accessible van system. And even now, the accessible van system, when students break their ankle or have another injury in which that they can't necessarily get to class, that AVS system is overextended. And when we have students who are sick and then needing to use that service to get to UHS, if they know it exists, which many of them do not, I'm curious because I know historically I've had conversations with UHS and they've wanted to get a bus line that goes to UHS, and it's kind of fallen into the back parts. North Pleasant Street is a very valuable street to have bus stops on, and I acknowledge that. And Thatcher Road is also, because you have UHS there, and also in Frank Dining Commons, we have the only kosher dining common on the campus. And those are two very valuable places, not to mention that Brett is right there, which is one of the largest housing units for students with physical disabilities. So I wonder, has the administration had any insight into what that funding may look like to make a bus stop there for UHS, for Frank Dining Commons, and for Brett Hall? And what steps have you necessarily taken to maybe make something like that possible?
I can tell you, I mean, Andy, I don't know if you want to mention something with respect to UHS. I can tell you what, I don't know if we have any students who are part of our buses and that drive our bus, part of our PBTA, that are part of the Senate, because I have sat down with them and they're the ones who say there's no way that a bus can go through that side of campus. So then can we make the street, that some of those streets are not necessarily ours? And then what do we do with the Durfee Arboretum, that it's a pretty cherished part of our campus? So I can tell you that I think your first option of how do we make sure that the accessibility van is expanded. Today, even some of the students, we were having lunch, and they were talking about also, when I'm sick, I can't go to a dining. Can I get some of my friends take the meal to me? And you always learn something every day. There's actually a get well meal that you can get to your friends when they're sick. So I didn't know. So that I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. So I do know that the team is thinking, how do we expand the accessibility vehicle system? That might be easier. That, I mean, we've talked to the bus drivers and they're the one like, you don't want a bus driving through this part of the campus. So we would have to do something to that area, which has a very cherished part of the campus in the Durfee Arboretum. So, but I don't know, Andy, if there's anything else that you think about. Andy's the Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration.
Sorry. Okay. What I talk into this?
Yeah, that little at the bottom hanging out.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks for your comments. And we have looked at the idea of the PVTA rerouting, but there's a lot to it. There's just the amount of traffic that we have on North Pleasant with the amount of ridership and the people going into that. It's trying to figure out how, if we could adjust those, that would have impacts on the ability to transport students to the North Pleasant building. So it's pretty complicated. We're looking at it. I agree with the Chancellor. We should talk about the accessible van, making sure it's promoted, because as you say, I agree. I don't think a lot of people know about it. And it's, we're definitely, there's no place we can put UHS that's going to be convenient to everybody. But we definitely want to make sure that anybody who needs access can get there. So thanks for your comments.
All right, thank you. Vice President Nalivo, go ahead.
Thank you, Chancellor, for coming and engaging in dialogue with us today. My question is about the BRIGHT Act, which I think is a really exciting initiative for public universities, and specifically this one. I was just wondering what the administration sees as like priority in terms of like allocating the BRIGHT Act funding, and whether you see that more as like a housing or residential area, or if that's more focused on academic buildings in terms of like maintenance concerns.
I can tell you, first of all, for those of you who may not know what the BRIGHT Act is, it's an act that was submitted by the governor for the legislature to consider, giving your public universities about $1.6 billion or something like that, a large amount of resources that they wanted to, they haven't passed it, right? So the governor has suggested, and now the House and the Senate has to pass it. Our hope is that it passes as the governor has put it forward, which is to reduce the carbon footprint, to renovate academic facilities, and continue to provide excellent academic experiences for the students when it comes to classrooms, when it comes to labs, when it comes to areas connected to the research of the university and as well. So I don't think that they necessarily see it as part of the housing, but we're looking at another avenue to do the housing while keeping accessibility in front and forward, which I spoke a little bit about, I think, here last year about the RFP that we did to look at housing in a very different way from what we did with Fieldstone. Now, so if we were to put those two efforts together, find a solution for housing and start renovating some of our residence halls, put it together with the BRIGHT Act, that would, it's a transformational moment for this university to be able to tackle on that continue to reduce our carbon footprint and continue to attract faculty that want to work with all of you in those renovated facilities. So it's more than likely the way it's worded is for the academic areas with the reduction of the carbon footprint. Yeah.
Thanks. Senator Walker Hoover, you got a mic?
It's good seeing you again, Chancellor Reyes.
Thank you.
I do have a difficult question to ask you, though. October 1st, the Trump administration, they sent out a compact for academic excellence in higher education, which includes really trying to reform what colleges are teaching on their campus, including talks of race, gender, that sort of thing, and trying to go along with their fascist ideologies. Obviously, UMass wasn't one of the 9 colleges that got that letter in the mail. But my question is, if, as a public research university, if, let's say in February, you guys were to receive that same letter compact, what would your response be?
Thank you for the question. And it's a question that it's not a difficult question. It's an appropriate question. And I was asked about it in the Faculty Senate, and my answer continues to be the same. We would not consider it. That is, and both senates are public forums, so we would not consider it.
Thank you. It's 7:11 right now, so we'll take questions for 9 more minutes. Senator Tajwani, you're recognized.
I wanted you to choose the questions.
Can we get a mic back there, please? Thank you.
There's a button on the top.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, first of all. I'm an international student from Pakistan. And my question is, you mentioned the current political climate. We all know it's changing rapidly. It's a lot of uncertainty. And you also mentioned that coming classes are going to have more or less the same percentage of international students. But that begs the question, what are we doing to support the current international students with everything that's going on with Trump, with education, visa, all of that? Yeah. So what are we, and especially the deportation thing, that's messed up. So what are we doing?
I can tell you we have had many sessions where we have been able to present students know your rights, being able to have legal services available to them. We have, I don't know if you've seen the sort of a script of what happens if you see or if somebody comes to the door, what to do, not to do. I don't know if Shelley, you would like to provide more details. Yeah. She's Shelley Perdomo Ahmed, the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs.
We've been working very closely with our Office of Global Affairs and also with Student Legal Services. I was, along with some other colleagues, involved in a number of conversations, with students who were concerned for our international community. Last semester, when we started to see a spike, right? What was happening in Tufts and in certain other areas of the country in the Northeast. And so we're working closely with Office of Global Affairs. There's workshops that we've provided specifically to international students to support them, particularly when it comes to information around ICE, also, what to do, what documents to have on their possessions. But I would also encourage you, definitely go on the Office of Global Affairs website to see the resources available. And also Student Legal Services has been doing an outstanding job providing those workshops and those opportunities to connect with our international students one-on-one on a smaller and micro level, because the reality is that many of them are still fearful.
And Julian mentioned that there's a support fund that they have available when they have needs for legal services.
The Angel Fund?
The Angel
Yeah.
Fund, yes.
But I think that's more of like deportations and like the present, like when something messed up happens and then like just the whole immigration status. But what are we doing to support our international students beyond that? Because right now it's not just your present that's in danger, it's also your future in the US, in UMass. So what are we doing to conserve that part of international students? Because I don't think I can fully put into words how scared I have been recently, how much uncertainty me and other people like me have been facing. So
I can tell you one.
And I would like to, I would just like to add on that I think all the international students at UMass, they're beyond amazing. They excel in every field of theirs, and I think that's just not appreciated enough.
I can tell you that, as you well know, I'm an international student myself, so I completely see. And I track the process to OPT. You can still get your OPT. You can still get your visa application. And we continue to advocate through Association of Public Language University to be able to advocate with the Congress and Senate in DC to make sure that that continues to be the case. So it's an advocacy effort. I spend I wouldn't say a lot of time, but on many occasions going to DC to talk to legislators, and that is a topic that, as you can imagine, is close to my heart, and I always lead with that. I always tell them that I am from Mexico and I stay in the U.S., and this is an important topic, and it's the diversity that we bring through universities is a powerful positive impact for the nation, and we lead with that. So that's what we continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Schuette, you're recognized.
Hi there. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Firstly, I just wanted to discuss a bit briefly about. I know that UMass, one of the big things that drew me here was I had really seen how I thought it was really admirable that the faculty and administration was so passionate about making sure that undergraduate and graduate students' needs were met. And recently, since coming here, I've seen many, at least many of my peers in like the undergraduate sphere, have multiple problems regarding like housing facilities, such as, for example, the one that, like the two big ones that come to mind are our Wi-Fi situation. That is a constant struggle with students on this campus. It's something that just does not seem to be improving, regardless of how many times students have voiced their problems with it. And another big thing that's significant too, I feel a lot of us students, is the laundry situation. I know that specifically in Gorman House, there are only 4 laundry machines, 4 dryers, and the weeks leading up to our break for Thanksgiving, they were not functional, and several requests were put into maintenance for them to be repaired, and they were not. It took a very long time for those to be fixed, and students were forced to go to, I believe, Wheeler, because those are the joint buildings. And even though they are supposed to have card access to Wheeler, they were not able to get in, and they were told that that would be something that would be worked on, and they were not. I've had multiple students in Gorman come to me voicing that they've had to go to laundromats to do their laundry. They haven't been able to get the adequate supplies and facilities they need to do these basic things that this campus is supposed to guarantee for us, our students. I know that this administration wants this school to be a place where our undergraduate students and beyond that feel safe and accommodated. And there have just been so many times as of late where I feel a lot of us can say that that's not the case. So I was just curious if you could provide more insight about what you might be doing to improve that situation, if there's any possible better modes of communication that undergraduate and graduate students could go to voice their concerns to a higher level. But yeah, thank you.
I mean, can I answer that?
Yeah.
Hi. So what I can say is that we are actively looking at a different vendor for laundry, the actual machines, and we're in the process of looking at those things. I'm sorry that you had to experience that. I was listening to everything that you're saying, and so I will follow up with the team. And Andy, you and I will work on what's happening over there in Gorman and Wheeler. But what I can say is that we are definitely looking into a different vendor for our laundry facilities and to improve the machines as well. And I'm happy to follow up at a later date.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, hold on. Wi-Fi
With
question.
Wi-Fi. Yes.
Thanks so much for the question around the Wi-Fi.
It's Monica
I will
Keynes.
say that this has been a very important topic for us in information technology. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm Monica Kane. I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor for Information Technology. This is an important topic, obviously, for us in our sphere, and we're working really hard to understand the areas in which you are experiencing problems with Wi-Fi and connectivity. We have a group of student ambassadors that have been working with us this semester, and we're trying to understand, again, where those opportunities are, replacing equipment that may be aging. So we appreciate the continued dialogue around this and sharing information with us as you have it about the areas in which you're experiencing problems with the Wi-Fi. But we're going to continue to assess it and replace where necessary. Appreciate the question.
And I also want to say something with it, because I think and student government has played a big role in identifying needs like this and looking at the basic needs center that now is coming because of you brought it up, and the food pantry because of you brought it up. So we definitely look into these issues, and we continue to work. But the best thing you can do for us is when that happens, let us know. Sometimes people think that we would know and it doesn't trickle up, or please let us know. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We're running up on the Chancellor's time, so let's keep the next couple questions brief and direct. That'd be appreciated. Chair Trong, go ahead.
Hi, Chancellor Reyes. Thank you so much for coming today to speak on dialogue. My question is, for a lot of students here, as we are halfway through the academic year and we're looking towards next year, the biggest concern for a lot of students here is affordability. So my question is if you knew of what our financial situation is looking like in terms of what state appropriations are we looking at, what research grants are we looking at, and if we're not getting any additional appropriations or we're getting research grants cut, how will this impact students in terms of tuition and affordability? What resources will be provided to assist students?
First, I think when it comes to research, we continue to, every day, it's a new topic on what is happening. But I can tell you that and we informed every governance body that I asked everyone to plan for a 3% and a 5% budget cut in case we needed it, and we haven't actually gotten to that point because we had international students coming, we had continued to have enrollment, and some of our research grants continue to flow. So we've been in a good financial situation. When it comes to the cost of everything, I don't have to go far. I mean, you know what has happened with the cost of living across the country, and we're not shielded from it. We're not shielded from it, and neither is the state when it comes to increases in healthcare, increases in the cost of food, increases in electricity. So I know that the Finance Administration and the Vice Chancellor Mangels and the Student Advisory Board of it will always have the conversation of what's happening and starting in the fall, in the spring semester. But it is a reality that the prices of everything is going up. But I always want to mention one thing when I get a chance. Sometimes when tuition increases, you have to also look at where those additional resources go in many cases. And in many cases, they flow back to student financial aid. And I think it's something that it's important to keep in mind when we're looking at this. But Andy, I don't know if there's anything you would like to add there or not.
Yeah, thanks for your. Thanks for your question. Yeah, you hit on a very important topic, and as the chancellor says, we're always looking to balance our budgets. We're also looking to, further the success and the quality of everything that we provide here at UMass, and we're doing everything we can to work as efficiently and effectively as possible. As the chancellor mentioned, we've pulled back 2% of our budgets from the administrative side that we've pooled for future use. So we are constantly looking at ways to do things in the most effective and efficient possible to maintain our costs. But as the chancellor mentioned, there are some certain costs that utilities and food and things that are just beyond our control right now.
I think we have other questions. Sorry. Thank you, though. In the back, can we get a mic over there, please? And could you state your name for the record, please?
Hello, my name is Rowan Ferris. I'm a student here at UMass. I have a question for you, Chancellor. I hear you speak a lot about, valuing dialogue over necessarily what may be interpreted as unpeaceful protesting. And I do, agree that dialogue is very important. Being able to have dialogue between admin and students is an incredible opportunity that students have and admin have to gain understanding of how we can best improve our campus. After the encampments and after protests during my freshman year in 2023, the campus enacted the DRST, which is the Demonstration Response and Safety Team. And when you look at the guidelines that the DRST is supposed to follow, they seem kind of perfect for students. It seems like they're supposed to, listen to our demands. We're supposed to have a dialogue. We have an opportunity to protest. And then after 3 times, we're told to leave. It seems almost kind of too good to be true. And it does feel that way when these policies are put into practice. In the protests I've been at, DRST has not opened up dialogue with students. They have simply stopped us and not, we have told them that we have someone to talk to them about our policies. They do not seem to want to engage in that regard. And moreover, there have been many efforts to talk with admin and many SGA votes passed that have not seen any results in terms of following the BDS guidelines. And I appreciate you talking about dialogue. I think dialogue is very important, and the political sphere right now is so polarized. And an opportunity for dialogue between students, I think, is something that everyone would appreciate. But when students feel as if their dialogue is not being heard right now, I think that protests feel like the only option. Do you have any thoughts on how we can better handle the DRST and also other tangible avenues that students can explore so that tangible change can be held without these protests that you seem to be kind of wanting to move away from?
Shelly?
I appreciate Shelley Perdomo, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, and also co-chair of the DRST team. And so I welcome the opportunity to have that dialogue prior to the engagement, right? And so there are a number of us who are members of the DRST team and a number who are also part of the advisory board. And so I think that it begins with the dialogue. So let's have the conversation, right? Because what's happening is the conversation isn't happening, right? You're organizing, our students are organizing, and the energies are high, the emotions are high. And at that point in time, it's very difficult to engage in dialogue because folks want to get their points across. And I totally understand. And so what I'm asking for is, if we are truly committed to having the conversation and the dialogue, let's do it.
Can we?
I look forward to it.
Can we speak?
I want to move on to another question, if that's fine. Who still has a question for the Chancellor? Keep your hands up. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, just for time's sake, we do have other business to consider, so this will be our last question. Secretary Carroll, go ahead. Can we get a mic over there, please?
Hello. Oh, hey, good to see you, Chancellor Reyes. To keep it really short and brief, so you mentioned that Black and Latinx student enrollment will increase from 3% to 8%.
Applications have increased, right?
Applications
Remember,
have
there's
increased.
application, admissions, and then who decides to come. So I
Got
want to
you.
make sure that I mention applications.
Got you, applications. So me as a Secretary of DEI, I wanted to understand, with that increase coming to UMass, what does that look like for students on campus, like are actually here? What specific actions that the university are taking to ensure that Black and Brown and cultural diaspora students that are coming here not only enrolled at UMass, but make sure that they're feeling, what actions are being taken to make sure that they're feeling represented, supported, and fully resourced, especially at a time when funding is being cut, cultural funding is being cut. The equity fund, DIA fund is cut. What does that support look like, especially when those cuts are happening for cultural students here? What steps are being taken?
When you said funds are being cut, you said that we have cut it. We have cut funds.
Well, it's funding is being cut all around campus, and it's especially hard for cultural students to do things. And when it comes to funding, when it comes from the cultural standpoint, it's hard.
I really that's why I mentioned when we say we could plan for a 3.5% budget, we haven't enacted any cuts. What Andy mentioned, we cut 2% from administration and we refunded that to academic affairs. So I don't know, when you say the cultural aspect, I know that the Vice Chancellor for Diversity as well, the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs can tell you, we have actually increased some of the funding through the CDD, the one that I mentioned, Community Democracy and Dialogue, where you can apply for it. But I want to make sure that we understand we haven't made any cuts. If anything, I know that they're getting a lot of the centers and a lot of the CMAS areas together to provide even more synergies across them. So I don't know if there's anything, Shelley or Marcia, that you want to mention, but I'm not aware of any cuts to the cultural side of the campus. I don't know if they're having a dialogue over there. Do you want
to? Chair Trong, do you have a clarification?
Point of clarification. Just for the record, the DIA fund is not funded by the UMass administration. It is funded through the SATF, and that was reduced, I believe, from 125,000 down to 100,000 due to last year's financial situation in regards to the projected deficit, which has since been resolved.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. And let's
just do a closing quickly. I
Yeah,
promise to be very brief. I just wanted to say again, thank you for the opportunity to come and have this dialogue. And we invite you, as Dr. Perdomo didn't mention, that part of the DSRT includes students. And after any and all events that happen on the campus, they have a debriefing. So it may be good to connect with them. If we don't have the names, please let us know. And we're happy to engage with you and through that advisory board, through that group of students. And there's a faculty, students, and staff part of that, the DSRT. So I didn't want to cut you in the question. There's definitely the intentionality of continuing to find ways to have this conversation. So I appreciate the question. So thank you. With that said, I just want to say thank you to all of you. I've been the way you have conducted the student government, Michael, Jan, I want to congratulate all of you for the way you have conducted student government, the way you have reached out to administration in different venues. And I would ask just one thing. Continue to engage with your advisory boards when you are at the advisory board of finance and administration or advisory board of diversity. Continue to make sure that those seats are filled and you have students' voices at the table. And then ask those students to say, hey, what happened in that advisory board, in that meeting? What are the things that they were talking about? So we can have that dialogue with time. Something that it's true about academia, we're a very cyclical industry, area of the sector. And we see things once a year. Right? We see once a year, we see the beginning of the semester. Once a year, we see comments. Once a year, we see things. So there are windows of opportunity to engage with those conversations that don't come back until next year. So that's important to make sure that we engage those processes. But I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for your engagement with student government. It's part of the civic engagement of the university. It's part of the governance structure. And I'm really, really grateful when we have meetings with you, you engage with us. And when you have meetings and with your advisory boards, you engage with them. So I appreciate you. I want to wish you the very best for your final exams. I want to wish you the very best for the break, the holiday season that is ahead of us. And I look forward to seeing you back here in the month of February, getting us closer to that. When I know some of you will be graduating as well, and we will be celebrating during that time. So thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. And I'll take my leave so you can continue your business. So thank you for the opportunity to let me bring all the vice chancellors as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Reyes. All right, before we wrap up with committee of the whole, there's food over there. So, no, there's no more food. Oh, okay. Well, there's something to eat. I don't know. It might be cold or not good, apparently, but if anyone's interested. With that said, is there any other business for the committee of the whole? All right. If not, the Senate will be in order and the committee of the whole previously called into session stands adjourned. The Senate will continue considering the remainder of the agenda. No special orders were submitted to the Office of the Speaker, and we don't have any unfinished business. Yes, Chair Kim? Motion to suspend the rules to consider a main motion not previously on the agenda has been called. What is the motion? All right. It would be S40. All right. Thank you. All right. I'll read the motion in a sec. All right. It is a motion to appoint Madeline Lamore to the Winter Coordinating Council. Is there a second for the motion to, or sorry, one second. All right. All right, motion has been moved and seconded. The sponsorship is recognized for a brief factual description of the subsidiary motion.
So, Coordinating Council, SGA meets, it's going to be probably once in January over winter break. We, if you're on the summer Coordinating Council, you're going to, oh, nice, sorry.
If you are on the Summer Coordinating Council, then you will be automatically added to the Winter Coordinating Council. This includes all members of leadership. So that's like all chairs, all secretaries, and a couple of senators. And also, if you guys want to be added to the Coordinating Council, just request an amendment. And well, you're already on there, Jacob. Come on. Yeah, request an amendment when this gets voted on. It's very low commitment. We just talk about what's happening, and also they appoint the Winter ODC, which will oversee any interviews for positions opening up.
Thank you. All right, are there any questions about adding this motion to the agenda? Yes, Senator Kennedy? Can you repeat that into a mic, please?
Will the info for this be added to the email chain? Is it already on there?
Yeah, we can send that out later.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? All right. Is there a need for debate on the subsidiary motion to add S40 to the agenda? All right, there being none, the motion is called and the question is on the adoption of the subsidiary motion to rearrange the agenda to consider business not anticipated. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right, the ayes have it, and this motion will be added on to the end of the agenda as S40. All right. Yeah.
To add to the agenda business prior.
Is it a resolution?
Yes.
Which one is it?
The resolution to drop conduct charges against student activist Kate Bello and reaffirm SGA support for student protest rights.
Okay. The chair will now read the motion. It is a resolution to drop the conduct charges against student activist Kiv de Montebello and reaffirm SGA support for student protest rights. Whereas Article 8, Section 3A of the Student Government Association Constitution vests the university student trustee with the authority to initiate referenda, and whereas Title 7, Chapter 12, Section 1 of the Student Government Association bylaws states that referenda may be placed on the ballot of either a general or special election, or a special election may be called for the express purpose of calling a referendum. And whereas in the spring 2024 general elections, 73.1% of voters supported the referendum calling for UMass Amherst divestment from defense contractors and military-affiliated corporations, demonstrating broad student support for opposing university relationships with weapons manufacturers. And whereas in the 2023-24 academic year, UMass Students for Justice in Palestine, UMass dissenters, and numerous student and faculty organizations held demonstrations calling for the university divestment from defense companies, including Raytheon Technologies, abbreviated RTX, and calling for the university to drop conduct charges against peaceful protesters known as the UMass 57. And whereas the Student Government Association passed the resolution to boycott, divest, sanction, and drop the charges on the UMass 57, which condemned the use of arrests and conduct sanctions against peaceful protesters and urged the university to drop all sanctions issued to students arrested at the October 25th, 2023 Whitmore sit-in. And whereas this prior action by the SGA clearly established precedent that the undergraduate senate does not support punitive conduct actions against students engaging in nonviolent political expression, opposing UMass's ties to weapon manufacturers. And whereas on September 29th, 2025, RTX appeared at the Eisenberg Career Fair to recruit students, prompting a peaceful protest by dozens of students in opposition to UMass's continued ties to weapons manufacturers implicated in human rights abuses. And whereas students gathered outside the career fair holding signs and chanting and were told by administrators to stop chanting and stand in a designated silent area outside the career fair. And protest participants complied with all directions. And whereas students began chanting again and before leaving were given their final warning, upon which they dispersed. And whereas despite over 30 students being present at the protest, only one student, Kiv de Montebello, a 20-year-old junior, was selectively charged with 5 conduct violations: disruptive behavior, threatening behavior, creating a disturbance, violating the picket code, and failing to comply. And whereas the threatening behavior charge was issued solely for a sticky note found that read, "Jeff Hescock, you cannot hide," that Kiv did not write. And whereas the Student Conduct and Community Standards Office issued sanctions against Kiv, including suspension from November 7th, 2025 through May 31st, 2026, a re-entry assessment to evaluate his intentions of re-entering the community, restriction from university housing, and a required 4 to 5 page letter evaluating his decision-making. And whereas these sanctions far exceed those typically issued for comparable nonviolent conduct cases and appear retaliatory in nature, and whereas the selective targeting of a single protest leader constitutes a violation of viewpoint neutrality and undermines UMass Amherst's stated commitment to civic engagement, equity, and free expression. And whereas the university's motto, "Be Revolutionary," is fundamentally contradicted when students who participate in peaceful activism are charged, suspended, intimidated, and subjected to excessive disciplinary scrutiny. And whereas punitive conduct charges against student activists create a chilling effect on political participation and disproportionately impact pro-Palestine students, mirroring prior patterns of administrative overreach, such as the conduct actions brought against the UMass 57. Therefore, be it resolved that the University Undergraduate Senate urges the Dean of Students Office and the Student Conduct and Community Standards Office to immediately drop all conduct charges and related sanctions issued against Kiv de Montebello, and be it further resolved that the University Undergraduate Senate reaffirms its precedent from the resolution to boycott, divest, and sanction and drop the charges against the UMass 57, asserting that student protesters must not face punitive consequences for peaceful political expression. And be it further resolved that the Student Government Association affirms student rights to organize, protest, criticize university policies, and challenge UMass Amherst financial and institutional ties with weapons manufacturers and other entities implicated in human rights abuses. And be it further resolved that the Undergraduate Senate calls on the university to adopt transparent, viewpoint-neutral policies governing protest, ensuring that student activism, especially political activism, cannot be suppressed through conduct charges. And be it furthest resolved that a copy of this resolution be delivered to Chancellor Javier Reyes, the Dean of Students Office, Student Conduct and Community Standards, the Faculty Senate, the Graduate Student Senate, the Office of Equity and Inclusion, by the SGA Speaker's Office. This is sponsored by Senator Siegel, Secretary Leone, Senator Wu, and Senator Walker Hoover. Is there, Is there a second for the subsidiary motion to suspend the rules to consider business not anticipated on the agenda? All right. The sponsorship is recognized to make a brief factual description of the subsidiary motion, which is to add it onto the agenda. If we could get a microphone up here, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's all pretty much laid out in the resolution. I think the TLDR version of this is that protest happened. What Kiv did during that protest was so deeply ordinary to the things that happened during protests at UMass Amherst, holding signs, chanting, putting sticky notes on windows, etc. I've seen these things. I've participated in a lot of protests in my time here. These are things that happen time and time and time again. I think so this is just, if these charges are just sort of allowed to go through, I think it represents a really bad precedent in regards to student free speech, in that, like, on a very basic level, if we are going to be if people are going to be facing conduct charges for leading protests where we march and chant and hold up signs, then what is left of protest if all of that is restricted? So yeah, I think this motion is just on adding this to the agenda. I think it should be added to the agenda.
Yeah. So yeah, just to clarify, this vote that we're going to do is just to add it to the agenda, not to pass the resolution. So if the sponsorship wants, do you want to elaborate on like why it should be added to this agenda and not be put on the next one?
Yes. So one reason is that we won't be reconvening until the spring semester. Another reason is that Kiv's Code of Conduct hearing is on Friday.
Thank you. Are there?
I yield to Secretary Leone.
Yeah.
Additionally, we have a consultation survey that was sent out that has over 200 responses. And KIV has a petition that went out to the entire UMass community, and that petition as well has over 500 UMass undergraduate students. And so because it's our last meeting, that's why we're going to have it today.
Yes, we have access to that consultation. We'll pull it up and display it once we get to the resolution on the agenda. Are there any questions for the sponsorship about adding this resolution to the agenda? All right. Is there a need for debate on the motion to add this to the agenda? There being no indication of a need for debate, the motion is called and the question is on the adoption of the subsidiary motion to consider business not anticipated. If added, this will be resolution 9. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it, and this resolution 9, will be added to the bottom of the agenda. Thank you. I'll entertain more motions. Yeah, Senator Walker Hoover.
Motion to add business unanticipated, resolution calling for the increasing staffing for Amherst Fire Department.
All right. The chair will now read the motion, the resolution. It is a resolution calling on the town of Amherst and the University of Massachusetts Amherst to increase staffing for the Amherst Fire Department and support the Amherst Firefighters Union. Whereas the Amherst Fire Department, abbreviated AFD, has been chronically understaffed for decades, resulting in unsafe conditions for both residents of the town of Amherst and students at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. And whereas during the recent Olympia Place fire, only 4 career firefighters were available to respond initially, far below NFPA 1710 standards requiring significantly larger initial response teams for multi-unit structure fires. And whereas during the recent Olympia Place, I just read that, my bad. Whereas IAFF Local 1764, the Amherst Firefighters Union, has publicly called for the town to hire 18 additional career firefighters to meet minimum safety standards and adequately staff emergency medical and fire response services. And whereas Amherst relies heavily on mutual aid due to insufficient fire staffing, delaying emergency response times and straining regional fire departments that are not responsible for UMass student populations and other members of the Amherst community. And whereas the University of Massachusetts Amherst has historically contributed between $350,000 and $450,000 annually to Amherst public safety, and under the 2022 through 2027 partnership agreement has committed $700,000 a year for fire and ambulance services and the purchase of a $400,000 ambulance in 2022, yet current staffing remains insufficient to meet the scale of campus adjacent emergencies. And whereas the safety of students, employees, and local residents is a core obligation of the university and the town, and inadequate fire staffing poses preventable risk to human life, housing stability, and public trust. Therefore, be it resolved, the University of Massachusetts Amherst Student Government Association formally endorses the Amherst Firefighters Union's request for the hiring of no fewer than 18 additional career firefighters for the Amherst Fire Department. And be it further resolved, the Undergraduate Student Senate of the SGA calls on the town of Amherst to prioritize fire department staffing in the FY27 budget cycle and to commit to a plan for long-term staffing growth that aligns with NFPA safety standards. And be it further resolved, the Undergraduate Student Senate of the SGA urges the University of Massachusetts Amherst to use its institutional influence to support increased staffing, including through public advocacy, strategic partnership agreements, and collaborative funding solutions. And be it further resolved, the Undergraduate Student Senate of the SGA supports the creation of a joint working group between the town of Amherst, UMass administration, 5 College Consortium, and IAFF Local 1764, the union, to coordinate institutional emergency response planning and to develop proactive, preventable strategies that ensure the safety and well-being of the campuses and the surrounding community. And be it finally resolved that upon passage, the Associate Speaker shall send this resolution to the Amherst Town Manager, members of the Amherst Town Council, IAFF Local 1764 President Sarah Forsyth, and the Secretary Benjamin Graham, Director of Strategic Engagement at 5 Colleges Incorporated, the UMass Chancellor's Office, the UMass Office of Emergency Management, the UMass Board of Trustees, the UMass President Marty Meehan, Dean of Students Office, Amherst Fire Chief Lindsay Stromgren, Amherst Fire Prevention Officer Captain Christopher Bascom, Hampshire County Sheriff Office, Hampshire County Emergency Services Agency, Western Mass Emergency Medical Services, Massachusetts Departments of Fire Services, Representative Mindy Dahm, Senator Joanne Comerford, UMass Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance, UMass Environmental Health and Safety Office, UMass University Relations, UMass Governmental Relations, UMass Police Department, UMPD, UMass Facilities and Campus Services, University Health Services, UMass Amherst Residence Hall Association, UMass Off-Campus Housing, the 5 College Risk Management, the Student Government Associations of Amherst College, Hampshire College, Mount Holyoke College, and Smith College, UMass Amherst Faculty Senate, Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts, Hampshire County Fire Defense Association, Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, MEMA, Region 4 Office, Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. This resolution, thank you. This resolution is sponsored by Senator Walker Hoover, Secretary Leone, Senator Malari, Chair Mello, Secretary Carroll, Secretary Nevins, Chair Kim, and Secretary Gatto. Thank you. The sponsorship is recognized for a brief factual description of the subsidiary motion, which would be an explanation of why it should be added to this agenda and not put onto the next one.
Yes, 2 weeks have passed since I was in front of you guys talking about this resolution. I had a lot of help from people who are in this very room, and I think we shouldn't wait till February to discuss public safety. We were very fortunate and lucky that no lives were lost in Olympia Place, but this is a answer and a solution to that crisis that was a state of emergency. So that's why it's tonight and not February.
Thank you. I think I was supposed to take a second. Is there a second? Are there any questions for the sponsorship? Secretary Gatto, you're recognized.
This is a point of clarification that I'm like blanking on what I was going to say. About why it's important to vote on this tonight. That waiting till February, town council is currently in a sort of transition between their terms, and that's going to happen over break. So it's important to be sending in as much as we can while they're in that transition period to make sure that it's not getting lost in the scuffle of a new council starting out. They're also meeting more frequently this month, so it'll be extra helpful to have this dealt with as soon as possible.
Thanks for the clarification. Are there any questions for the sponsorship?
Another point of clarification for
Yeah,
the
go
timing
ahead.
of this. So yesterday, Secretary Nevins worked with university relations to push us past them or ensure that they got eyes on it before it came up in front of us. I also spent additional time in the 2 weeks to consult with student firefighters and other members of the community who this motion entails or applies to. So that's the reason also for this timing of the consultation needed to be had in that manner.
Thank you for the clarification. Are there any questions for the sponsorship? All right. Is there a need for debate on the subsidiary motion to add this resolution to the agenda? There being no indication, the motion is called. The question is on the adoption of the subsidiary motion to add this resolution, which will be designated Resolution 10, to the agenda. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it, and Resolution 10 will be added to the bottom of the agenda. Thank you. I'll entertain more. Yeah. Which one? All right, Senator Wu, you're recognized.
Sorry. Motion to suspend the rules to add a resolution. This is unanticipated.
Mhm.
I don't know, 48 hours. I submitted this, I think, through their Senate submission form. It's a resolution supporting the adjunct faculty pilot program. You have
Okay.
it pulled up.
All right. Thank you. Subsidiary motion to suspend the rules to consider a main motion not previously on the agenda. I'll now read it. Okay. A resolution supporting the adjunct faculty pilot program. Whereas adjunct faculty are becoming increasingly common in higher education spaces, representing a national average of 68% of faculty in fall of 2021 compared to 47% in 1987. And whereas UMass Amherst employs part-time faculty, accounting for 17% of its own faculty. And whereas a majority of adjunct faculty make less than $3,500 per course, with a third making less than $25,000 per year and another third making less than $50,000 per year. And whereas nearly a quarter of adjunct faculty members surveyed rely on public assistance and 40% struggle to cover basic household expenses. And whereas less than half of adjunct faculty receive health insurance through their employers and 19% rely on Medicare or Medicaid for coverage. And whereas UMass does not unilaterally provide health insurance and retirement benefits for adjunct faculty, where adjunct faculty at only 4 out of 5 of the UMass campuses qualify for health insurance coverage through the Group Insurance Commission and receive Social Security. And whereas recognizing that the health and well-being of our professors affects undergraduate education, given that low wages and availability of courses force professors to work multiple jobs at multiple colleges, creating immense and unnecessary stress and hindering professors' ability to teach. And Whereas despite these hindrances, adjunct professors demonstrate extraordinary dedication to their students, holding office hours, assisting students in crisis, attending faculty meetings, and writing recommendation letters. And whereas Bill H1434 would create a pilot program funded through appropriations from the Massachusetts state budget and not through the UMass Amherst student fees or campus revenue at one community college, one state university, and one UMass campus to test comprehensive solutions such as career advancement pathways, earlier course assignments, shared office space for meeting with students, pro-rated health insurance for faculty teaching half-time or more, and professional development funding. And whereas recognizing that better working conditions for professors enable them to focus on teaching rather than solely on surviving, and therefore they can provide better education for undergraduate students. Therefore, be it resolved that the University of Massachusetts Amherst Student Senate formally endorses Bill H1434, an act establishing a public higher education contingent faculty reform pilot program, and urges the Board of Higher Education, the Massachusetts House, the Massachusetts Senate, and the Governor of Massachusetts to pass this legislation. And be it furthest resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to each member of the Massachusetts Legislature's Joint Committee on Higher Education, the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Commissioner of the Board of Higher Education, and the Commissioner of the Board of Higher Education by the Speaker of the Senate. This resolution is sponsored by Senator Wu, Senator Siegel, Chair Kim, UMass Phenom, the Committee on Academic Oversight, and Senator Walker Hoover. Is there a second for the subsidiary motion to add this resolution to the agenda? All right. The sponsorship is recognized to make a brief factual description, specifically about why it should be added tonight and not to the next agenda.
All right, thank you. This will be our last meeting. This is also somewhat of an urgent matter just because the hearing for this has already happened and it's currently in the Senate Ways and Committee, so it's it's in the process and Secretary Nevins. So there's urgency on this. I also think this is pretty much a no-brainer just because adjunct faculty are so important to higher education, and yeah, I hope that suffices.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the sponsorship? All right. Is there a need for debate on the subsidiary motion to add this resolution to the agenda? There being no indication of a need for debate, the motion is called to add this to the agenda. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right, the ayes have it, and this resolution will be added on to the end of the agenda as Resolution 11.
Motion to rearrange the agenda to consider. Actually, first off, point of parliamentary inquiry.
Yeah.
Would it require me to make two motions to both put unanticipated business first and to put the resolution that I'd like to have dealt with first because we have people here for it first? Would that be two separate motions, or can I do that in one fell swoop?
Wait, you're going to add something to the agenda?
No, to rearrange the agenda.
Oh, to move thing? It's one, yeah. I mean, you just need one motion per resolution. So how many things are you moving?
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll just move one. So, motion to rearrange the agenda to put to
Actually, you can propose a rearranged agenda, so you can move multiple things in one motion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, motion to rearrange the agenda in the following way. We would first consider resolution to drop the conduct charges against student activist Kiv de Montebello and reaffirm SGA support for student protest rights. Then we would consider the rest of the just everything. Let's just put that first, and yeah, that's all I'm asking for.
Okay. All right. Subsidiary motion to suspend the rules to rearrange the order of the agenda has been called. The new order of the agenda will be Resolution 9, which is a resolution to drop the conduct charges against student activist Kiv de Montebello and reaffirm SGA support for student protest rights. Then we'll go to S39, which is what's on there right now under new business. Then we will go to, after reports, Resolution 10, which was a resolution calling in the firefighter one, and then we do the adjunct faculty one after that. That's going to be the new order of the agenda. If you guys pass this, is there a second? Okay. Okay. Are there any questions about the new order of the agenda? All right. With no, well, there's no debate on this one. The motion is called. The question is on the adoption of the subsidiary motion to rearrange the agenda in the order that I said. Basically, the next thing is just going to be the one for conduct charges. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right. The ayes have it, and our agenda will be rearranged. Okay, cool. In that case, okay. The Senate will now consider Resolution 9, a resolution to drop the conduct charges against student activist Kiv Di Montebello and reaffirm SGA support for student protest rights. I already read it out, so I won't read it again. The sponsorship is recognized for additional factual description of the motion, if necessary, and then may yield to questions of fact.
Wait, the presentation, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, I'll do the consultation and then I'll. Yeah. So, already loosely given a, when we were putting this on the agenda, we already gave I think, a good enough description of this. But so we did student consultation. We asked a simple question. Do you support the passage of this resolution? We linked the resolution. We received 213 responses. That was, last I checked, 212 in favor, 1 opposed. Yeah. A motion to, motion to recognize a non-member of the Senate to speak.
Motion to recognize a non-member. We'll just make it a motion to recognize every non-member of the Senate to speak for the duration of the meeting. That's fine. Any objections? Is there a second? All right. This is a motion to recognize all non-members of the Senate to speak for the duration of the meeting. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right. The ayes have it. Non-members are welcome to speak upon recognition by me. Although, as part of the sponsorship, any non-member may be recognized.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiv. Thank you for letting this be on the agenda today and for letting me speak. It's funny to have this follow-up talking to the admin for 30 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to talk to you about a situation that was laid out in the resolution. If you go to the next slide. So before I speak about this, this is a very small point, but just to what Shelley was saying briefly in response to some of the questions about dialogue, because I know that that came up in the meeting with admin, and I find it somewhat relevant to what I'm about to talk about. I just wanted to mention that, to introduce myself, my name is Kiv. I'm a junior. I'm a social thought and political economy major. And I've been involved in protests since I got here. Back in 2023, I was already involved, and I just wanted to mention that Shelley actually had a meeting, a dialogue with the leaders of Students for Justice in Palestine, who poured their hearts out and explained how this university was not doing enough to support them as Arab and Palestinian students whose families were being slaughtered in the genocide in Gaza. And Shelley laughed at them and did not listen to them, and that dialogue went nowhere. And they left that meeting crying. And since then, we, obviously have found it fruitless to speak with admin and have this open dialogue, because when there has been dialogue, it has been received with belittlement and with no response to something so large as a university's complicity in genocide. And up to this day, there are over 680,000 people have been killed in Gaza, half of them children, which is very important context to what I'm going to be talking about and this incident. So on September 29th, as mentioned in the resolution, there was a protest where I joined 30 other students at the Student Union to protest Raytheon's presence at the Eisenberg Career Fair taking place in Campus Center. Again, Raytheon is the second largest weapons manufacturer in the world. They supply direct contracts with Israel. They arm Israel in its genocide on Gaza, and have committed numerous war crimes across the world. Anyways, we gave a few speeches at the Student Union and then continued down to Campus Center chanting. We went down the escalators to where the career fair was taking place in the Campus Center auditorium. We stood chanting for a few minutes outside the career fair. So this is in that little area at the bottom of the escalators outside of the auditorium, if you're familiar. And stood chanting for a few minutes. We weren't blocking any paths. The DRST issued a couple of warnings telling us we needed to stand in the corner in a marked area and be quiet. We complied with their directives, and we remained there for nearly 2 hours, during which time people wrote on sticky notes and placed them around the area. I personally did not write on any sticky notes. During this time, I actually met with one of the deans of Eisenberg and had a very, cordial conversation with him where I asked him a few questions for around 15 minutes and then shook his hand and walked back to the sanctioned off area. And a while after that, I began a chant again as we were preparing to leave. And then we were given a third warning. And it was at this point that the DRST said that they were going to start identifying people if we didn't leave. And at that point, we left. We go on to the next slide.
I'm surrendering the chair to Associate Speaker Germain. Also, all the resolutions are in the supplemental material folder if you want to follow along on your computer.
So 11 days later, on October 10th, I received 5 conduct charges from the Student Code of Conduct Office: threatening behavior, disruptive behavior, creating a disturbance, failure to comply in violation of the picketing code. I was the only student charged from the protest. Next slide. So I'm just going to quickly go through these charges. I don't want to talk for too long because I definitely want to open it up for questions. Also, I don't want to take up too much time. But I was not found responsible for threatening behavior after my initial hearing with the dean. So they found this. I was not found responsible for this, but just to clarify, the alleged behavior was a sticky note that read, "Jeff Hescock, you cannot hide." I didn't write on any sticky notes. I did not write that sticky note. The 2 of the other charges were disruptive behavior and creating a disturbance. These are the language in the Code of Conduct. Conduct that disrupts the academic, residential, and/or social environment of the campus or surrounding areas. Examples include, but are not limited to, disorderly conduct, public intoxication, loitering, disturbing the peace, noise disturbances on or off campus, and/or willful disregard of the university bathroom policy. And then a willful interruption or disturbance of the day-to-day operation of the academic or administrative business of the university. These basically say the same thing. As I sort of already specified in what this protest was, is we were outside of the career fair. We were quiet. There was no material disruption to the career fair. Again, this was just a regular protest, and protest is protected on public universities under the First Amendment. Next. Failure to comply. Failure to comply. We complied with the university's directive to hold a silent protest in the corner outside of the career fair, and we complied when told to leave. Next slide. And then this part is, I find pretty interesting. I was found for violating the UMass Picketing Code. In the UMass Picketing Code, it says the university encourages the exercise of free speech, acknowledging that free speech and expression in a university community will sometimes result in exchanges that are heated, controversial, deeply passionate, and even uncomfortable for members of the university community. So the university acknowledges that protest may make people uncomfortable. This does not mean that it is disruptive, and that this does not mean that it has the right to be silenced. The only evidence for any sort of disruption was that the protest could be heard from inside the career fair. Hence, it was making people uncomfortable, and regardless, we complied when directed to stop. Charging students for chanting outside of a career fair is a violation of the First Amendment. So yeah, just to sum up, again, on Monday, so it's been 2 days, I started a petition which has over 1,085 signatures. 555 of those are undergraduates in support of dropping the charges. And then that's this graphic on the right here. There's also 65 faculty members who signed on to that. And it was around, I think it was at like 60 graduate students who signed on, and then the rest are community members. And then this was that SGA consultation, which you already saw. So in summary, these charges are a violation of students' right to protest and should be dropped, as well as the imposed sanctions against me. This is not just for me, but for the future of all student freedom of speech and demonstration at this university. Thank you for your time.
I yield the chair back to Speaker Duvetti.
Does the sponsorship yield for questions?
Yes.
All right. Any questions for the sponsorship? Chair Trong, you're recognized. Any mics around? Thank you.
Okay, is this working? Yes. First off, I'd just like to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come here to present this to the Senate. I think this is really important that we discuss this, especially around the First Amendment, which is guaranteed to all students and all people. I just had a question regarding the language of the resolution in terms of clarification. Let me find where it is. Should be whereas students gathered outside the career fair holding signs and chanting and were told by administrators to stop chanting and stand in the designated silent area outside the career fair and protest participants complied with all directions. And in the whereas statement under that, it says that the students began chanting before leaving. And I was just wondering if you could clarify because the two statements seem a little bit contradictory because it says that they were told to stop chanting and then it said they started chanting again.
Yeah, so these two things happened about 2 hours apart from each other. And the first time when told to be silent, it was because we were using amplified sound. And then the second time we had put away the amplified sound and we were starting a chant at regular volume on our way out. And then we left.
And then a quick follow-up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you be one of the sponsors be amenable to clarifying that? Just because I think it's really important that if we're passing that and we're supporting this, that we make sure this is as accurate as possible.
Wait, can you repeat the question?
If the sponsorship would be amendable to adding additional clarification to make sure this resolution is as accurate as possible if we are going to support this.
I would be amenable to an amendment that modifies the whereas clause that starts whereas students gathered to make explicit reference to the fact that they were told to stop using amplified sound. Yes. Sure. Yeah. I would. Yeah. I think the wording of the to do an amendment, the wording that I would use is I would modify that clause to say students gathered outside the career fair holding signs and chanting were told by administrators to stop chanting using amplified sound and stand in a designated silent area outside the career fair and protest participants complied with all directions. And whereas students began chanting again, whereas approximately 2 hours later, students began chanting again. Do you want me to be super thorough and be like not using amplified sound? Whatever. I'll just leave it as is. Oh, yeah, okay. Whereas approximately 2 hours later, students began chanting again, not using amplified sound, and before leaving, were given their final warning. Approximately 2 hours later, whereas approximately 2 hours later, on their way to leave the protest, students began chanting again, not using amplified sound. So I guess that's one comment. Yeah. Not using amplified sound.
A motion to amend will be in order from now until the final vote. In case anyone wants to bring it up.
Can I make
a prospective amendment?
Can I make the motion to amend or right now? Like it's in order now or?
Yeah, it's in order now. Yep. Yeah, it's in order now.
I make the motion to make that amendment.
All right, the proposed amendment is up there. Is there a second? All right. Do you want to give more factual description about it?
No.
Okay. All right. Is there a need for debate on the motion to amend? With no indication of a need for debate, The question is called to amend the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstaining say abstain. The ayes have it, and the amendment passes. We'll have that reflected in the document. Again, this document is in the supplemental materials folder for today's agenda folder. Can the owner of the document give Cody editing access, please? Thank you. Any further questions for the sponsorship? Attorney General Mullins, you're recognized.
Mike. Thanks. Hi. Yes. So on the one directly below that, that reads, whereas despite over 30 students being present at the protest, only one student, that whole part. So that is actually coming directly out of the code of conduct. This is very standard. I can read out the specific part of it here. So Code of Conduct 2.1G states that the officers or leaders of a student group may be held collectively and or individually responsible when such violations are committed by persons associated with the student group who have received consent or encouragement from the student group's officers or leaders, or if those officers or leaders knew or should have known that such violations were being or would be committed. So this is also kind of a question, I guess. Are you an officer and or leader of that organization?
Okay, yeah. So to answer that question, because this was also brought up in my conduct process, well, to answer your final question, no. And to answer the rest of that, the DRST is supposed to, it is in their operating guidelines, which was made public after a public records request, but I don't think is like available online, but it's in their operating guidelines that they're supposed to identify a point of contact and identify a leader. And I was not that point of contact. There was actually another point of contact in the protest who was communicating with them, and that person was not me. And so I was not the leader of this protest, nor the point of contact that was speaking with the DRST.
And to confirm, they never actually initiated a conduct process against this point of contact?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Any further questions for the sponsorship? Chair Trong, you're recognized.
Yes, this is just a follow-up because the where statement under it says that you were charged under that, but then I believe you just said that you weren't officially charged. I was just wondering if you could clarify.
I mean, this section is not super necessary to the resolution, so I'd be fine with it being removed. But to clarify, I was charged with threatening behavior and the other 4, and then I had my hearing with the dean, and I was found responsible only for the other 4.
Was the question about the whereas statement highlighted or the one under it?
It's whereas the threatening behavior charge.
Oh, yeah. Attorney General Mullins, you're recognized.
Nice little back and forth here. Okay, so going down a bit further to whereas these sanctions far exceed, if you could highlight that for everyone's visibility. Okay, awesome, thanks. Okay, so the conduct system is a progressive system. If you receive a sanction, the next sanction will be more harsh. This is something they tell you in pretty much any hearing. So if a student has previous sanctions, this sanction would be more likely typical for this case. So I guess if you're comfortable with sharing with us, is that relevant in this case? Was this sanction maybe influenced by a history of conduct?
I do have a history of conduct, as I've been protesting at this university for almost 3 years now. And it may have played a role in this sanction. I think the wording, though, in the code of conduct, there is nowhere in the code of conduct where it says that they must move to any, like go up the ladder in punishment. That is not anywhere in the code of conduct. When you are on suspension deferred or on probation or what have you, it says you may be placed on, and then whatever, it lists all the other sanctions. So that's actually not a part of the code of conduct, that sort of ladder process. It is just something that they do, but it is not within the code of conduct.
Yes, that is accurate to my understanding. I guess my point more is that I don't believe that these are atypical for the exact case profile in your situation. I believe this is pretty standard for someone who has previous sanctions.
Is there a question? Yeah, is there a question?
Okay, so I guess I'm more just like, this doesn't seem like accurate language.
That's a comment better reserved for debate. It's out of order for the factual questioning period. Are there any other factual questions for the sponsorship? Chair Mello, you're recognized.
Well, I guess like in that case, would you be amendable to like considering wording this potentially differently, or like saying you don't even like believe this instead of saying this as fact that these sanctions are not typically issued?
If I might. Yeah, I think the purpose, the intention here with this part is that the specific actions that I'm being charged with are, I mean, to put it lightly, quite ludicrous in nature of it being a regular protest and then me being found responsible. And so I would assume that the sanction for those responsible findings, if as they found me responsible for those, could have been amended to one of their educational routes of rehabilitation that they list in their code of conduct, because there are other routes other than suspension. And given the severity of a sanction such as suspension, I would think that that could be, sort of revisited. And as far as typically issued for comparable nonviolent conduct cases, I think that part could be maybe reworded as far as typically issued for other conduct in general. I mean, just to give an example, there was a student about 2 years ago whose name was Ben Goldstein, who was sending death threats and harassing students at this university. And all of that evidence was repeatedly submitted to the administration over the course of a year. And he remained at the university, and there was never any disciplinary hearing for him. And this process happened extremely quickly and rapidly. And I was suspended within, a month and a half of just participating in a protest, whereas a student who was actively sending death threats and had been physically harming students at protests received no disciplinary hearing, received no charges, let alone any sanctions. So I think that's, if there's a way to word that where this is sort of a double standard of severe punishment for this specific form of conduct, maybe that could be reworded in that manner.
Yeah, I'll say that the crux of the resolution has less to do with the fact that it's a suspension than it is the fact that these charges are being levied against Kiv to begin with. That's the part that's the main thing that's ludicrous. I think, and the Ben Goldstein thing is like, it's a good like sort of counterexample. Like that resulted in the OCR complaint, right? Yeah, that particular case like resulted in students bringing, I believe that's the right verbiage for it, an Office of Civil Rights complaint against the university, and so it's like this is nuts.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I'm not really sure what point yeah. I'm not really sure what point it would be, but I'm not sure we can discuss other students' conduct cases on the Senate floor.
Can you say that again into a mic, please?
Yes. Thank you. Point of clarification for the rest of Senate. Like the duration of Senate, we should not be discussing other students' conduct cases, either current students or like past students. Any interaction with the conduct office at all, because those are private.
Could I make a point of clarification on my previous point?
It's up to the speaker.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just that wasn't a code of conduct case with Ben Goldstein. My point was that it never went to the code of conduct because he actually had a restraining order filed against him, and yet the university still would do nothing disciplinarily. But again, this is sort of has nothing to do with my case. I was just sort of more of trying to highlight how this is specifically being targeted against me. But again, I would be down to amend or remove this section of the. If this is I would be down to remove that.
Yeah, if anybody wants to make a motion, we'd be amenable to it, but I'm not going to make that motion.
Yeah, Vice President's point is sustained. Let's definitely not bring up other students' conduct charges, and let's also avoid alluding to other students' potential conduct charges or any just, irrelevant factual proceedings. Yeah, Senator Facizo, you're recognized. For a question of factual nature.
So sorry, wow. There was a bit of discussion in your presentation about potential alternate routes in terms of sanctions compared to what is currently like on the table, so to speak. Has there been like a sanction review? I don't know if I'm allowed to ask that, but isn't that typically an avenue?
So to respond to that, I'm going through the university hearing board process because I'm actually contesting the charges themselves and not the sanction, which I think is why this point I agree is a little confusing and could be removed, is that this is not about the sanction imposed of suspension. This is about the charges themselves, and that the charges themselves are that I'm not responsible for the charges themselves and that they should be dropped by the conduct office.
Yeah, go ahead.
This feels like maybe like a murky question to ask, so no pressure, of course. How like far along is this process? Because I know there are a lot of different hearings that can be held, and I feel like that could be useful for context. Is that okay to ask?
You can choose to disclose that information. You can also choose not to. It's up to you.
I mean, I don't think it's super relevant, but I mean, I've had a meeting with the dean, and I have the hearing board on Friday. Yeah.
Thank you. Senator Wu, you're recognized.
Would sponsorship be amenable to changing sanctions to charges to specify that? The one that you're
Yes,
hovering over?
that would be perfect, actually.
Okay, great.
All right. Any further questions for the sponsorship? Yeah, Attorney General Mullins, you're recognized.
So changing that to charges would also make it inaccurate. Obviously, I cannot divulge details of cases, but for this type of situation, those charges are not outside of the ordinary. So would you potentially be amenable to just removing that entire subsection right there?
I would not be amenable to that. I think that this is very different than anything we've seen before. In fact, in the past 2.5 years, and to my knowledge before that, there have never been any conduct charges in association with a protest that did not coincide with an arrest. And usually the law is broken, or there is some sort of police presence that leads to a conduct charge. And here, and these charges being targeted at one student, I see no precedent to that, and that seems very different than many protests that have taken place in my experience here. And I think there's no precedent for them handing out 5 charges to one student participating in a protest. Yeah.
Chair Mello, you're recognized.
Yeah, I was also curious on the below point, the next whereas statement then, since you self-described as not being truly a protest leader in this case, if you'd be willing to amend or maybe change this language to reflect that you don't believe that you were the protest leader, as this may be confusing, and as Attorney General Mullins said, that it may actually be university policy to target single protest leaders in some cases.
Sure, I would be amenable to that.
All right, thank you. Oh, was there any further response from the sponsorship? Okay, thank you. Yeah, Senator Wu, you're recognized again.
I don't really know how to phrase this question, so I'm just gonna attempt. These sanctions or charges or whatever, they're dependent on like the point of contact, right? Would you say that like given that you're not the point of contact, would this not be would that not far exceed the consequences for for comparable nonviolent conduct cases?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, thank you. Senator Tick, you're recognized.
Hi. So I don't know also if I can ask this, but were you the only person from this event charged with a conduct violation?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further factual questions? Chair Mello, you're recognized.
I'm not sure the will of the Senate in this case, but I'd like to make a motion to amend to remove the two whereas statements that we're talking about. To potentially, as I also think this is a long resolution that's very, it very clearly, I think, lays out a lot of these points without necessarily needing to be explicitly stated. And so if we're concerned that this isn't necessarily the most accurate way to say it, since I think this is already clarified in other parts, I think maybe we don't want to repeat ourselves in a way that makes us look contradictory or out of line with current university policies and what's actually going on here. So that's just a question also for you guys if you'd be potentially amendable to that with that reasoning.
Wait, so you're making a question or you're calling a motion?
I'd like to make that motion and make a motion to amend with them having ability to
It's a
with
question.
them a motion to amend with them being able to have factual questions in that manner. Or
Huh?
motion to amend.
Okay. Motion to amend. Yeah. All right. So the amendment is just deleting those two? Okay. Sponsorship of the amendment may present a factual description of the amendment. I guess you already gave it, but
I
anything
just
else?
did. I think that's pretty much it.
Could I propose
Okay.
an alternative to that?
We'll have to vote on this one first. But yeah, you can make a motion to amend. Oh,
Can they ask a
wait,
factual?
one sec. Okay, you can make a motion to amend an amendment. So,
Can I make a motion to amend an amendment?
and yeah, you can also ask questions about the amendment, but you want to make a motion to amend the amendment? Or I guess, well, one of them.
Could I ask a
because-
question about the amendment?
Yeah.
Could it make more sense to instead remove, to change the word leader to member and to remove the previous whereas?
I'd be amendable to that. So can I change my motion to amend to have it be that?
Yeah, you can withdraw it and then.
I
redo it.
withdraw my motion to amend.
Okay.
I motion to amend to do what he just said.
Okay, so, wait, what was it?
Remove the first whereas statement entirely and
Okay.
then change protest leader to protest member.
Okay. All right. There's the amendment. Is there any additional factual description? Is there a second for this amendment? All right. Are there any questions about this amendment for the sponsorship, which would be Chair Mello? Yeah, Vice President Nalivo?
Sorry, I'm not allowed to call motions, but isn't a protest member just a protest horde?
Yeah, sure. Single protester.
Protesting.
I withdraw my amendment. I make a
Okay.
motion to amend.
My
to
amendment
say
withdrawn.
protester.
Okay. The amendment is to delete that whereas statement that's struck out and then replace the word leader with, replace
Leader.
get rid of protest member and protest and replace it with protester.
Guys, it's my birthday.
You can have first pick of the desserts in the office.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there any more factual description? Or do you want to yield the factual description to someone else?
Do you have a question on this? Yeah, there's another factual question if you want to ask that.
Oh, okay. Well, is there a second for the amendment? Okay. We'll take factual questions about the amendment.
Would the sponsor of the amendment be amenable to removing the words constitutes a violation of viewpoint neutrality and, because it's just unclear where that's coming from, and kind of undermines like the main point of it, in my opinion. Would that be acceptable?
Can I make a comment on that to cast a comment?
If Chair Mello yields to you, then yeah, you may.
Yes, please yield to me.
Okay. Happy birthday! I yield to you.
Could we change that to can we change that from constitutes a violation to undermines the spirit of viewpoint neutrality?
My just question here is,
there's a point of information, yes, or point of inquiry.
Yeah, so this is more for you than anybody else. Regarding viewpoint neutrality, I'm aware that the SGA is beholden to that policy. Is that a policy that's used by admin?
I believe so, because any like disbursement of public money requires viewpoint neutrality. So I think admin does also adhere to it. I don't know, Sid, JD, is that right? Okay, yeah. So yes.
I think it's mostly it's in this resolution as sort of a reference to one of the core principles on which SGA operates, and so it's sort of like placing what we're saying in the context of sort of SGA politically and ideologically. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So a question from Attorney General Mullins for Chair Mello.
yes, Chair Mello. So I am wondering how this specific section, this specific whereas, implicates the concept of viewpoint neutrality, because I can see it in the rest of the resolution. I see it in the broad concept, but for this specific targeting of a single protestor, I do not see how that constitutes a violation of viewpoint neutrality. So could you elaborate on that?
I yield to Senator Siegel.
I think it represents the university picking sides in a pretty clean-cut free speech case where the protesters had a right to protest and the university undermined their right to express their viewpoint.
Okay. Are there any further factual questions about this amendment? I will also entertain a motion to amend the amendment if we are going to change that part too. Chair Mello?
I withdraw my amendment and make a new amendment to include that, to say violates the spirit of viewpoint neutrality in this case.
Okay. The new amended whereas statement is, whereas the selective targeting of a single protester violates the spirit of viewpoint neutrality. Was it violates?
Yes.
Yeah, violates the spirit of viewpoint neutrality and undermines UMass Amherst stated commitment to civic engagement, equity, and free expression. Is there any further factual description about that amendment? Is there a second for this amendment? Second. All right. Are there any questions for the sponsorship? Chair Trong, you're recognized.
Yeah, I guess I just had a question when you said when we're amending it to say violates the spirit of viewpoint neutrality. Just because, like, is there anything like within this resolution that specifically is like acting as, I guess, like a pointer to saying that the university specifically targeted you because of their viewpoint, or because like you may be the only person they could identify? I don't know. I'm just wondering if you could clarify, or someone could clarify.
The question is for Chair Mello. Unless Chair Mello wishes to yield.
If you guys have an answer, I'll yield to you. Okay, I think that in the way this would be violating viewpoint neutrality could be in the selective targeting, just like no matter the reason for it. I think the fact that like this entire whereas statement is just to say they picked someone who was not a leader and chose to press charges or charge them. So I think that's the spirit of this, is just, and also we're not necessarily saying they violated viewpoint neutrality. We believe that they violated the spirit of it in this case. So that's my opinion. That's why I'm making this amendment. I yield to Secretary Nevins.
I think just to add on to that, I think Chair Mello did a really good job with that, but they had a point of contact and they were not the point of contact. However, they were chosen to take the ball. There was another person that could have been identified, and instead they were identified, and they could have sussed out other people.
Well,
There was another point of contact, and that the other point of contact was not chosen in this case. So that's the reason for viewpoint neutrality here, is because of the fact that there were other people that could have been chosen, but this person was.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Can I make a motion to call the subsidiary motion?
No, because we're not in debate. We're still in the factual question period for this amendment. Senator Kennedy?
So would this not just redirect the administration's like disciplinary actions towards the point of contact? Because that's what it sounds like they would probably do next. And that would bring us back to square one, because I know your point was that the protest wasn't at like an exceptionally crazy out of the ordinary protest, but the charges were, so that would just bring you guys to square one with the point of contact being the one facing this now.
I think that's covered by the rest of it.
I yield
Was
to
that a question about the amendment or just about the whole resolution?
The whole resolution.
Okay, I'll entertain it, but we're taking questions about the amendment, and then once we pass the amendment, we'll go back to questions about the whole resolution. Chair Mello, do you yield to them?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You can answer that.
That is certainly a concern. We can get there when that happens. I think that this is about that they should not have been charged for this, because they're violating their university policy. Says that the point of contact would be the person who would be charged, right? Not the point of contact. So I think this is essentially just calling out, hey, you said that this is the policy and this was not followed, and that's the observation. Is if you want to go more on it.
Also, I think we're getting a little off track here about this whole point of contact thing, because one person brought up something about this leadership thing, but actually the whole argument that I'm making is that these charges are illegitimate regardless of who they are posed against based on the events within this protest. So this protest did not elicit or warrant any charges against any student. So regardless of that, if that is me or another student. And the point on viewpoint neutrality here, I see as more the precedent for prior protests of these kinds of charges having never been given to students, and that it is about the content of speech and not about who these charges are being given to.
Are there any further factual questions about the amendment? Just a reminder, the amendment right now is to strike out that whereas statement up there, which is struck out in red, and then to change protest leader to protester, and the other part to violates the spirit of viewpoint neutrality. Are there any more factual questions for Chair Mello about the amendment? All right. Is there a need for debate on this subsidiary motion to amend? There being no indication of a need for debate, the motion is called and the question is on the adoption of the subsidiary motion to amend to reflect the following amendments. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. Okay, ayes have it, I think. The amendment is passed. All right, now we're going back to factual questions about the resolution as a whole. Motions to amend are still in order, but this is the factual question period for the whole resolution. Senator Tick, you're recognized.
Right. Okay, cool. I guess my question is more so like what this wants to, like what will happen if this is passed. I mean, because the way I see it, well, first of all, this doesn't really seem like it's a Senate matter as much, but I don't really see what the benefit is. So in terms of what has been like stated in here and what you hope to accomplish.
Okay, can you repeat the question, please?
What do you hope to accomplish with this?
Sure. So first of all, there is precedent for this happening in the Senate. As we mentioned, this happened with previous conduct charges against students for protesting in fall of 2023. And then as far as what I hope to accomplish with this would be, I mean, this is a resolution going straight to the administration, asking them to drop the charges against me. I would hope to accomplish dropping the charges against me.
I would also say Kiv is a student, and we represent the UMass undergraduate students, so it's very relevant to this matter.
All right. Factual questions, Chair Trong.
Can I motion to amend?
Yeah, go ahead. What's the amendment?
It's going to be the second to last, be it further resolved statement. I amend to strike transparent, comma, and then viewpoint neutral, and then amend after protest, or between the word protest and ensuring, to amend to add that uphold free speech principles, comma. And the reason for the amendment is because I was consulting with Attorney General Mullins here, and there is already like viewpoint neutral policies like in place. It's just a matter of like, I guess, upholding them and putting additional practices in place. But the fundamentals of it, to my knowledge, is already in place. And I can yield to Attorney General Mullins if she has more clarification.
Motion to amend that amendment to us.
Well, are you finished with your factual description yet or no?
I can, yeah. Can I yield to him?
Okay. Yeah. After he's done with his description, then a motion to amend the amendment will be in order.
Yeah. So again, just to be clear, the amendment is to remove the words transparent, viewpoint neutral, and then directly after the word protest, before the comma, insert that uphold free speech principles. Because again, the issue here, I think, is really more free speech. They already have viewpoint neutral policies. Whether they adhere to that is definitely up to be questioned. But the policies are viewpoint neutral. What I think the motion is more about is free speech and student right to, advocate.
All right. Is there a second? Yeah. Parliamentary inquiry?
Yeah, parliamentary inquiry. Could it be like, considering how many like amendments there are, and also just like it is important for wording?
Yeah. Can you get a mic?
Would it be a good idea to just call like a quick recess so that the sponsors and then anyone who like has proposed amendments just like talk openly, like without procedure? If not, okay, never mind.
Yeah, no. Is there a second for the motion? Well, a second to the questions. Is there a
Motion to
second for the
amend.
amendment, this amendment? Yeah, second? Okay. All right. Are there factual questions for the sponsorship or a motion to amend the amendment?
In the amendment to say, be it further resolved that the undergraduate senate calls on the university to uphold viewpoint neutral policies, because it's very important. Viewpoint neutral policies are in here because this is suspected as a viewpoint neutral violation. So
Okay. So the amendment would read, be it further resolved that the university or the undergraduate senate calls on the university to uphold viewpoint neutrality, or to uphold viewpoint neutral policies governing protests that uphold free speech principles, ensuring that student activism, especially political activism, cannot be suppressed through conduct charges. Is that correct? Okay. The sponsorship of the motion to amend the amendment is recognized. If there's any additional clarification you want to give.
just so we're covering our bases and including viewpoint neutral in here, uphold, we already have viewpoint neutral policy, so there's no need to have adopt. And if you take it out, free speech, it doesn't. Free speech, it doesn't really cover the viewpoint neutral aspect.
Is there a second for the motion to amend the amendment? Parliamentary inquiry?
Yeah, I don't think we have one.
Oh, Well, that's not parliamentary inquiry, but okay. Quorum is called into question. Associate Speaker will conduct roll. The room was kind of full to me. It's only 8. Or, it's 9.
Senator Ashrafi. Senator Ashrafi, absent. Senator Bauman. Senator Bauman, present. Senator Baker. Senator Baker, present. Senator Belair. Senator Belair, present. Senator Chamu. Senator Chamu, present. Senator DeHaze. Senator DeHaze, absent. Senator Durigi. Senator Durigi, present. Senator Chair Dami. Chair Dami, excused. Senator Dang. Senator Faciso. Senator Faciso, present. Senator Haycock. Senator Haycock, absent. Senator Ercole Espinal. Espinal, present. Senator Hirondani. Hirondani, excused. Chair Hood. Senator Huang. Senator Huang, absent. Senator Jame. Senator Jame, present. Senator Kennedy. Senator Kennedy, present. Chair Kim. Chair Kim, present. Senator Cohison. Cohison, present. Senator Lamore. Senator Lamore, absent. Senator Malari. Senator Malari. Senator Monda. Senator Monda, absent. Senator Mari. Senator Mari, present. Senator Meesum. Meesum, absent. Chair Mello. Chair Mello, present. Senator Morales-Aquino. Senator Morales-Aquino, present. Senator Nalivo. Senator Nalivo, present. Senator Ng. Senator Ng, present. Chair Nguyen. Chair Nguyen, absent. Chair Nyeka. Chair Nyeka, absent. Senator Dish Patel. Senator Dish Patel, absent. Senator Rahi Patel. Senator Rahi Patel, present. Senator Reeb. Senator Reeb, present. Senator Roy. Senator Saini. Senator Saini, present. Senator Schuette. Senator Schuette, present. Senator Shi. Senator Shi, absent. Senator Siegel. Senator Siegel, present. Senator Sun. Senator Sun, present. Senator Seversky. Senator Seversky, present. Senator Tacky. Senator Tacky, present. Senator Tajwani. Senator Tajwani, present. Senator Tick. Senator Tick is present. Chair Trong. Chair Trong is present. Senator Valencia Gego. Valencia Gego, present. Senator Verma. Senator Verma, present. Senator Walker Hoover. Walker Hoover, present. Senator Wu. Senator Wu, present. With 31 voting members, a quorum is present.
All right, everyone, sit down. Go back to your seats. And quiet, please. Where are we at? Questions?
We are on questions.
Right. Okay. Quote. All right, to amend.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you can go.
Quorum is not 30. We've had resignations. Quorum is less than 30.
Okay. We are in the factual question period for the motion to amend the amendment. Again, the amendment reads, be it further resolved that the undergraduate senate calls on the university to uphold the viewpoint neutral policies governing protests that uphold free speech principles, ensuring that student activism, especially political activism, cannot be suppressed through conduct charges. Are there questions? All right, there being none, is there a need for debate on the motion to amend the amendment? With no indication of a need for debate, the motion to amend the amendment is called. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right, the ayes have it. The previous amendment is amended. We are now back to the questioning period for the amendment, which is going to be updated in a sec to reflect what it's supposed to be. But now it includes the part about viewpoint neutral policies and the part about free speech principles in a nutshell? Yeah? Zoom in. He'll zoom in a sec. Okay. Are there any further factual questions about the amendment? All right. Is there a need for debate on the amendment? With no indication of a need for debate, the motion is called and the question is on the adoption of the subsidiary motion to amend. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right, the ayes have it and the amendment is adopted. Now we're back to the factual question period for the whole resolution. Senator Facizo?
Not a factual question, rather a point of personal privilege. Given the fact that this has been amended so many times, would you be amenable to rereading the resolution so that everyone knows what they're actually voting on now?
Okay, I'll do it unless someone makes a motion to waive that. Oh, all right. Motion to waive the reading has been called. Yeah. What? Huh? No, I don't know if that's a motion, but there's only a motion to waive it. I don't know about reading it or what. I don't know. All right. Okay, so for this is if you don't want me to read it, say aye, okay? What? Okay. Actually, okay. Forget it. I am not reading it. It's in the supplemental materials folder. Just read it yourself. Thank you. Okay. Factual questions about the resolution. Anyone? Okay. Is there a need for debate on the resolution? With no indication of a need for debate, the resolution is called. The question is on the passage of Resolution 9, a resolution to drop the conduct charges against student activist Kiv de Montebello and reaffirm SGA support for student protest rights. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it and the resolution is passed. All right, on to the next thing. The Senate will now consider S39, a motion to amend Title II, Chapter 13, Section 7 of the Student Government Association General Bylaws, sponsored by Associate Speaker Germain. This was reviewed by the Committee on Administrative Affairs on November 23rd, 2025, and was reported favorably. The sponsorship is, I'll read the amendment. Chair Kim? Motion to waive the reading has been called. Is there a second? All right. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right. The amendment is in the motions packet. Sponsorship is recognized for a factual description.
Yes, so this is my bylaw amendment. I have restarted the special assistance program this year. I'm not sure when the last time this program was run, but it wasn't run last year. As the bylaws currently stand, I'm not allowed to assign more than 3 special assistants to a standing committee, but I've received a number of applicants that are interested in committees like the Academic Oversight Committee and the Undergraduate Services Committee. Academic Oversight in particular has a low number of senators compared to other committees. And so like just as an example, like I would like to potentially place more than 3 special assistants on that committee. So that way they have a number of people who are capable of doing work. So that way, you know, we can make sure that we're working for the student body as best we can. So are there any questions?
Okay. Is there a second for the main motion? Does there exist a need for debate? With no indication of a need for debate, the question is on the passage of S39. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it and the motion is passed. All right. That is all of the main motions that were submitted. We'll move on to the other resolutions later. For now, we go on to officer reports. University Student Trustee Marino is recognized. Not here. President Borowski, you're recognized. Someone have a mic close to the front? Thank you.
Wow, guys, what a night and what a semester. I am just so glad to be here right now. I ain't got much business for you. I'll keep this real brief. I'm just doing this because I didn't put my written one in. Having a big meeting with all the agencies next week, the big one to get our new funding system ran by them. I think that's going to be one of the biggest accomplishments of this term. Other than that, I don't have much for you guys. Have a great break, and I'll see you in the spring.
Vice President Olivo is recognized.
Hello, all. Yes, I officially won the slick back off for this semester. And I also just want to say I hope you all have a great break. Over break, I'll be working on a few initiatives, specifically expansion of Operation 100K, aka actually doing it, and talking about parking citation forgiveness and in relevancy to food insecurity on campus and the Food Recovery Network. So if you have any interest in working on those initiatives over break, please let me know.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the president or vice president? All right. Oh, is there? No? Okay. Okay, my report out's in the packet, so you can read it. Associate Speaker Germain?
Yes, just two quick things. First of all, I have hired a clerk, Charlotte. And the second thing is ESO events. Please, please, please submit the form. It is in the email. You must attend 2 ESO events, or you will be given, I believe it's an absence, which if you have, acquired 2, that could be your third one, which resigns you by non-action. So please, please, please attend the events and fill out the form. It is very, very important. Thank you.
Also, if you go to multicultural night or multicultural prom, you can count that for one.
Next semester.
Never mind. Chief Justice, are you here? I guess not. I guess it's not counting for this semester. Okay. Yeah. RHA president, are you here? RSO council presidents, any present? Are there any agency representatives? All right. Does any cabinet secretary seek to make a verbal report out? Urgent matters only, please, and keep it brief. Secretary Gatto, you're recognized.
I thought you were insulting my outfit once I came up here. This is just because I forgot to get my written report out in. Just letting you guys know, today I got to meet with 2 of our town councilors from District 4. District 4 has a lot of area that campus is on. They were great. It was an hour-long thing. We talked about issues with housing and certain things to do with CRESS, which is a group in the town that deals with they're like a non-violent sort of social workers group. I don't know how to put it better in quick terms, along with just general upkeep, just certain things, kind of boring. Okay, gee. Yeah, other than that, Friday before break, 5 college board meeting, we all just kind of talked about general upkeep of campuses. There's really not much more to say than that. So yeah, there you go, Ishan. Nice and quick.
Thank you. Any questions for the secretary? All right. Any other secretaries? Secretary Leone, you're recognized.
Very, very quick. Friday, we're going to be with UPC because we want to get some input from them about finalizing the agency MOU that we're doing, as well as next week we'll be meeting with the rest of the agencies. So we're doing an agency MOU, which is going to be part of the new funding process. Darren also is going to be finishing his RSO funding guidelines very soon. I'm sure he touched base on that in his report. That's the main update. I also wanted to say that this is my last Senate meeting. I'm graduating at the end of the semester, so I just want to thank you all. Very, very quickly, I just want to thank you all. I've been in this org since 2022 as a conduct advisor. I was vice president last year, so it's been a great 3.5 years. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Don't leave yet because we're still voting on resolutions at the end. Secretary Lakeway, you're recognized.
Didn't get my report out in. My bad. I submitted my final proposal for the heating thing. If you have questions about any other busy Watsons, let me know.
Secretary DeMarco, go ahead.
Okay. Just a quick update. Final RSO application decisions are going out this week. And I'm also working with the Registry Reform Task Force to, do internal registry reforms, as the name suggests. So we'll be working on that this week and throughout the winter term, and hopefully have some exciting projects up for the spring. And yeah, I hope everyone has a really good break.
Thank you. Any other secretaries? All right. Are there any faculty senate representatives seeking to make a report? Any ESO event representatives or SAB representatives? Yeah, Secretary Nevins, you're recognized.
The little button that you move, Matt, it goes to the right. Okay, I'm in an a cappella group. It's called the UMass Doo-Wop Shop. We're super cool, and we have a super cool concert coming up on the 12th. That's next Friday, and you should all be there. I'm going to get to sing. All my buddies are going to get to sing. It's super fun, super cool. Ishan was there last year, and you should be cool like Ishan.
And you can count that towards your ESO events. Senator Walker Hoover, you're recognized.
So myself and Senator Tick sat on the Diversity Council this past Tuesday or Monday, and it was very insightful. They're trying to look into diversity of language. So if you have like dialects, that sort of thing. And also there's something coming in next semester, like AI task force, something like that. They didn't elaborate on that, but that's it. That's all.
Thanks. Anyone else from an SAB or a faculty senate? You send. Okay, cool. Senator Nalivo? Yeah, sure.
Hello. Today, me and Peter both attended the University Relations Committee. They talked about, I didn't take notes or anything, but just based off memory, they talked about Founders Day, which is something that they really want to target a broader audience that is aware of. It's more than just the cookout. I'm a freshman, so I haven't attended one yet, but based off what they were saying, they just really want to make sure that students are aware of all the opportunities on campus that day. So especially being a part of the outreach committee, I think that we should definitely talk about more ways to make sure that students are aware of those opportunities on campus. They also talked a lot about the UMass downtown store and like Amherst Center, and about how it's not only like a sublet of the UMass store that's now downtown, but it also can be used as an event space, which is free of charge. So you just would have to reach out to the UMass downtown email. I don't know what the email is, but I'm sure you could find it online. And it's just a really good opportunity for ESOs to be using that space, especially for like performances or guest speakers. It's a space that can hold about like 50 people. So I think that's a really good opportunity for RSOs to know about. And I think not a lot of people know about it right now. So they definitely wanted me and Peter to relay that message. Yeah, and other than that, they had also voted on the change of Mount Ida campus's name today. So that's exciting. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Any further reports? Chair Mello, go ahead.
I went to academic affairs last week, and I just wanted to reach out, just say that we discussed the Middle Eastern programs, and it's been a concern for members of SGA. So I do have updates on that if individuals want to reach out to me about that, and the same thing for Wi-Fi that's been discussed heavily in a lot of my meetings lately. So if you have any questions about any of that, just reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss.
All right, thank you. Anyone else from Faculty Senate or SABs? Yeah, Senator Ficizzo.
Guys, I promise this will be brief. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what Faculty Senate has been doing this semester regarding the Gen Ed Council, which I'm an appointee on. So I'm basically just attending those meetings, taking notes and voicing any student concerns that I have. It's been really great to see kind of an increase in advocacy amongst that faculty group regarding like things like syllabuses being more descriptive, updating the academic integrity policy on all of those syllabi, and making sure that students have real opportunities to improve their grades, especially in gen eds, which are often, taken by freshmen and underclassmen. So it's been a really positive process. If you guys have any questions about that, you can always reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further reports from anyone who went to an SAB or Faculty Senate committee? All right. Does any Senate committee chair wish to make a verbal report out? Chair Trong, you're recognized.
It's gonna be for two reports, myself and for Leo. Emergency funding and RSO startup funding guidelines are complete, so we're planning on getting the process of launching that probably sometime over winter break or spring sem. And then real quickly, we're still working on finalizing the guidelines. They should be done in the very, very near future. If anyone is interested in getting involved, please reach out. We always need more hands.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Does any other chair wish to make a report? Okay. SGA advisor, any updates? Thank you. All right. Okay. All right, people, we're going to do this as quickly as possible. The Senate will now consider S40, which is a motion to appoint Madeline Lamore to the Winter Coordinating Council. Sponsorship, do you want to yield the factual description to me? Yeah. Okay. I mean, we pretty much got a description. Winter Coordinating Council, it's like mini Senate that meets once during winter break. I'll yield to questions. Also, I will entertain a motion to amend right now. Somebody call a motion to amend. All right, motion to amend has been called. Is there a second? Okay, here's what we're going to do. If you want to be on the Winter Coordinating Council, please hold up your name card now, and we'll amend it, put your name on that, if anyone wants to. Does anyone want to be on it? It's super fun. It's also a very low time commitment. It's over Zoom. It's a meeting of a smaller version of the Senate where the officers will give report outs. Also, there might be a motion. The Coordinating Council has the authority to disperse money, discretionary funding, but that's pretty much it. Doesn't usually happen. It's probably just going to be reports and then you're out of there. So. Oh, and appointing the temporary ODC to fill vacancies. Did you sure you wanted to? Yeah. One hour. Does anyone else? Hands high. Does anyone else want to be on the Coordinating Council? Okay. I think I got everyone. Is anyone's name not on the list who wants to be there? All right. Good then. All those in favor of this amendment, say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right. The amendment passes. On the actual resolution itself, main motion. Is there a need for debate? With no indication of a need for debate, the question is on the passage of S40 to appoint members to the coordinating council. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. Next, we will consider Resolution 10, which was the firefighter one or the adjunct? Fire? Okay. Which is a resolution calling on the town of Amherst and the University of Massachusetts Amherst to increase staffing for the Amherst Fire Department and support the Amherst Firefighters Union. I'm pretty sure I already read it, right? I already read it. Sponsorship, go ahead with the factual description.
Yes. Okay. So as many of you know, the Olympia Place fire displaced 200 students. More than that, it was a state of emergency, one that demanded a full, immediate, highly staffed response, but only 4 career firefighters were available when the call came. Let's be honest, UMass Amherst got lucky. Getting lucky is not a public safety strategy. So this resolution is supporting the Amherst Fire Department that has been chronically understaffed, and they rely on mutual aid. Response times are stretched thin. Firefighters themselves have raised the alarm, and the union has asked for 18 additional career firefighters just to meet minimum safety standards. Again, this is not a political issue. This is a public safety issue, and this resolution was shaped collaboratively. I want to acknowledge Chair Mello and Secretary Nevins for their partnership, insight, and support. I also want to thank my co-sponsors for standing with me. This is what shared governance looks like. We cannot wait for a tragedy to force action. We cannot wait to get unlucky. Tonight, we have the opportunity to lead, to protect our peers, and to send a clear message. Student safety is not negotiable. Emergency readiness is not optional, and luck is not policy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the floor.
All right, any questions, any factual questions about this resolution? Senator Ficizzo, you're recognized.
Did you guys consult with university relations?
Yeah, they've seen this entire thing. They had a couple of concerns. The 3 of us addressed it. They were able to read it. Nancy Buffone signed off on it to the best of her ability. And yeah.
Thank you. Any further questions? Is there a need for debate? Or, sorry, is there a second for the resolution? Does there exist a need for debate on this resolution? With no indication of a need for debate, the question is on the passage of Resolution 10. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it and the resolution is passed. The Senate will now consider Resolution 11. A resolution supporting the adjunct faculty pilot program. I already read it, so the sponsorship may proceed with the factual description.
I think I already, no. Okay. So, this is mainly supporting the adjunct faculty bill. It's H 1434, which establishes adjunct faculty reform pilot program for one UMass campus, for one state school, and for as well as one community college. This does not use any of the SAT funds. It uses appropriations from the Massachusetts State Legislature. And the part of the reason why I wanted to put this up is because the state of conditions for adjunct faculty right now is very, very poor. Some people don't have healthcare, they don't have Social Security, and they don't even have the decency of having an office space where they can take in student appointments. And also, as stated in the resolution, they're not being paid very well. And given that, adjunct faculty are becoming increasingly common within higher education spaces, I think it's relevant for us to take care of our professors.
Yeah, and this is business not anticipated because it was submitted to AO the end of 2 weeks ago. We didn't meet for Thanksgiving, and so the time we could meet was yesterday. So that's why it's not anticipated. But this passed favorably.
All right. Sponsorship yields for questions. Any questions of factual nature about the resolution? Question back there or no? Oh, okay. All right then. Is there a second for the resolution? Does there exist a need for debate on the resolution? With no indication of a need for debate, the question is on the passage of Resolution 11, a resolution supporting the adjunct faculty pilot program. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it and the resolution is passed. I believe that concludes the agenda and the other roll call we did earlier will suffice for ending roll call. So is there any motions on the floor? Senator Valencia Gallego, is there a second? The motion is to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Those abstain say abstain. All right, the ayes have it. We're adjourned. Wait, stick around for a picture. We'll take it on the stairwell and then it'll be quick. Then you can leave. I don't know. Or leave, but you won't be in the picture.
Also party.
And then if you're free, come down for food. If you're not, I get it. But thank you guys all so much for a great regular period. Have a fantastic winter break. Good luck with finals. I'll see you guys again here in February.